Welcome to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. The Bible tells one big story of redemption, and we want to spend 5 minutes every day journeying through the Bible from start to finish and exploring how all of it points to Jesus.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. This is Stephanie, and today I will be going through 1 Chronicles chapters 7 through 9 with you all. Yesterday, Kristen gave us an overview of the Chronicles. She mentioned how one of the major themes of the book was answering the question, who are the people of God? Remember, the original audience of this book was the remnant, God's people who, by God's doing, returned to Jerusalem after their 70-year Babylonian captivity. A lot happened during their time away, and things weren't the same when they returned. Consider how helpful it was for them to have a recap of God's faithfulness and His promises to His people. Aren't we reminded of the power and trustworthiness of the Word of God when we see His faithfulness from generation to generation, tracing all the way back to Adam? And ultimately, these genealogies point to the one who is to come. I say all of that again because today's readings continued with a lot of names. Chapter 7 goes over 6 families: the family of Issachar, the family of Benjamin, the family of Naphtali, the family of Manasseh, the family of Ephraim, and the family of Asher. These are the remaining tribes of Israel. Chapter 8 then zooms into one of these tribes, the tribe of Benjamin. The tribe of Benjamin was part of Judah, the southern kingdom, along with the tribe of Judah and the Levites. These tribes made up a big portion of the remnant. But there was also something uniquely significant about the tribe of Benjamin. As we saw in this chapter, enlarging the view of the tribe of Benjamin offers us a genealogy on Saul, a significant character in Israel's history. Remember, Saul was the first and failed king of Israel. We see his genealogy repeated in the latter half of chapter 9. This portion of the book ushers in the transition. From here on out, the book will focus on the kingdom of David. Chapter 10, which Kristen will go over tomorrow, shows the transition from Saul to David. But before the transition, we read about the first inhabitants of the returning exiles. These included the Israelites, the priests, and the Levites. There's some details about the gatekeepers and other servants of the temple. In the end, remember that these genealogies are not irrelevant, unimportant, or boring. They teach us a lot about God. His divine hand is always working down to the detail. From person to person and family to family, God cares. It's evidence of God working out His story of redemption, which culminates in the birth of Jesus. The genealogies substantiate prophecies and also give us historical relevance. 1 Chronicles is an important book. The genealogies and history of Israel remind all of us that God's original intent never changed. His promises remain, and as we'll see, there's particular emphasis on the Davidic covenant. This is the covenant where God promises that a descendant of David will reign on the throne. This is fulfilled in Jesus Christ. He came just as He said He would. God will always remain true to His covenant promises. He is a covenant-making, covenant-keeping God. We can trust that His divine hand is always working, even now, at the world at large and in our own lives. That concludes today's reading in 1 Chronicles. You can find additional resources on our website, dailygracepodcast.com, and follow us on Instagram at TheDailyGraceCo and at Daily Grace Podcast. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.